Hey, welcome to the Crack House Chronicles True Crime Podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that once told me he had a job as a limb stretcher, but I think he was pulling my leg. It's Dale.
What's going on, man?
Hey, bud.
Yeah, I was just pulling your leg, man.
Yeah, you just joshing.
I got just joshing you. I got to get a job somehow.
Yeah.
Make it sound good.
Pulling eyes over my wool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long pull.
Yeah. What's going on, dude?
Oh, same old, man. Same old,
Same
man.
Same old.
Ready to go, man.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, man. We had a gold star week this week, didn't we?
We had a gold star. We got a gold star.
That's right.
Beside our name.
How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Groovy.
Got a beer, got a podcast. What more can I need?
I know, man.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yep. Got a shout out for us or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got one. We had a really good message come in from a fan in Finland.
Finland?
Finland.
That's across the pond, isn't it?
Yeah. It's over across the pond and up yonder on the right.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to look it up. Anyway, he really enjoyed the podcast, and we didn't have too many crappy ads, and we had good voices, so he likes us.
Okay.
We might have some bad jokes, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, he found us and really is enjoying the show, and he's starting at the newest, and he's worked us down to about 74, and he listens on Podtail, but he said don't really know about having to do 5 stars, so if anybody else listens on Podtail, how about shoot us a message and let us know how you do that. We'll see if we can't hook them up.
Yep.
So anyway, we're going to see if we can do this without butchering it too bad, which I'm sure I will, but, you know, what the hell. We're going to shout out to Antti Ruohonen. How about that? Is that close? Ruohonen.
From Finland.
Yeah, from Finland. Anyway, you say it, man. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the kind message. That's awesome, and that's why we do this, man.
Well, he said we'd probably butcher the name, but that's the best we can do.
Yeah, you know, what the hell.
But yeah.
What do you expect?
It's good to have a good friend in Finland.
That's right.
Yep.
You never know when you're going to get broke down in Finland.
That's right. And Auntie will be right there.
That's right. Need a ride, call Annie.
Yep. And we'll remind everybody to, if you're on Apple Podcasts, click that 5-star.
Yes.
And rate and review.
Yeah, or on your Spotify. You can do it on there, too.
Yeah, you can click that 5-star on Spotify.
That's all you got to do is click it there. No typing necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go.
And I'm going to sell a T-shirt.
Okay.
Yep. I want everybody to go over to the Crack House Chronicles website and click on the store page and get you a T-shirt.
Get you a T-shirt and get you a hoodie and tank tops, man.
Yeah.
It's tank top season.
Tank top season coming in.
Just a sticker and a mug for coffee in the morning and tank top for the afternoon and a hoodie for the evening, you know.
There's all kind of stuff on there for sale, yeah. Get you something.
It's all good stuff, man.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all we got to talk about.
I guess not. I guess we'll just get straight into this here little program we got before we get yelled at for talking too much.
Well, we've done killers and stuff, but we're going to get back on the disappearances this week, Dale.
Killers and stuff.
Killers and stuff.
You had enough pizza?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Running across the country on pizza killers.
All right. Well, let's do
we're going to get into a disappearance this week.
Alrighty.
And
guess what? It's not in the mountains.
It's not in the mountains. This one's coming from Columbus, Ohio.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. The state that's high in the middle and round on both ends.
It sure is.
Yep. But this episode, we are talking about Brian Randall Shaffer. Now, he is like the king of missing persons.
Boy, I don't want to be that.
No, but his story has been covered a lot, man.
Yeah, I seen this on TV. I'm not sure what the show was, but when you started telling me about it, you kind of come back, and I'm like, whoa, this is the guy who's going up the escalator, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So,
But this is Brian Shaffer.
He's still missing.
Yep. But just a little bit of background on Brian. He was born on February the 25th, 1979 in Pickerington, Ohio. Now, this is a small suburb outside of Columbus. And he is the oldest of 2 sons to Randy and Renee Shaffer.
Okay.
And he graduated from the local high school there in 1997. And he was pretty outgoing. He played tennis and done several different things, learned to play the guitar, and pretty much run to the beat of his own drum.
Pretty smart fella.
Yeah, he done his own thing.
Yeah. His younger brother is Derek Shaffer, just for, so you know.
Just for reference, yeah.
Just for that.
But, like even Brian, he played tennis there in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
he was captain of the tennis team.
He was. Number 1 seed. And he was letting his hair grow out long.
Well, he's a rock and roller, man. He's got his guitar out, and he's listening to all this 90s stuff that he liked, the Pearl Jam and the Nirvana and all those bands.
Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis.
Yeah.
All those bands. I don't know what he's playing guitar on. So anyway, but yeah, so he was kind of getting the hair going and the whole deal. He really wanted to be in the band.
Yeah.
He had aspirations for being in a band, making it big, and living on his own island so he can be like Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. That was his thing. That was what he wanted to do. But he was on, like I said, he was on the tennis team, and his coach had told him to get a haircut.
Yeah, got on his ass about his hair getting long. He told him he needed a haircut.
So he
went and
quit the team.
quit the team.
Yep.
I'll show you, brother.
Yep. I don't need you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing.
And you get paid to smack his ball around.
So that's pretty much how Brian was, how he lived his life.
That's right.
Yeah, he didn't take no crap off anybody.
He just done what he wanted.
Yep. Now, Brian went to Ohio State University for his undergrad work. And 6 years later, he graduated with a degree in microbiology. And after that, he started studying at Ohio State University College of Medicine.
Yeah, he didn't leave. He just stayed there.
Yep, in 2004. Now, during his second year there, in March of 2006, his mother, Renee, died of a rare blood cancer. And
she was a nurse, huh?
Yes, she was a nurse.
Yes.
It was her dream for Brian to go to medical school.
Yeah, and they were really close.
Yeah, they were tight.
Yeah, he wanted to make her proud.
He was a mama's boy, wasn't no doubt about it.
That's right.
And his friends said that he was handling the death pretty well, but he could tell it was hard on him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it ain't no fun. I've lost both of mine, and neither one's no fun.
Nope. But during his time at medical school, Brian had become romantically involved with another medical student. And her name was Alexis Wagner.
Alexis.
Yep. And her, and along with her family and friends, they all believed that Brian would maybe be possibly proposing marriage to her.
Well, he was getting ready to go on a big trip for spring break.
Yeah, they were going to Miami.
Yeah, which actually his mother, the previous Christmas, had she seen what was going on and thought it'd be really cool. She knew how Brian liked to go to the tropical area, so she paid for them a trip to go to Miami for spring break.
Yeah.
So that was her Christmas gift to them. And by the time it was just rolling around, his mom was getting, a lot more sick, and she passed away. But pretty much everybody was thinking that on this trip he was going to pop the question.
Yep.
Even so much that she had gave Brian some information from some doctors and stuff that she worked with on which jeweler to use.
Yep. But he hadn't bought a ring yet.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah. Everything has been reported. He hadn't bought a ring.
Nobody found one anyway.
That's true. Now, moving up to March the 31st of 2006, this was a Friday. And classes at Ohio State University ended for spring break. And Brian and his father, Randy, they went out together for a steak dinner.
Yeah, they had just finished up all midterms and stuff, and said his dad said that Brian was looking a little raggedy when he showed up for dinner. Not necessarily how he dressed or nothing, just you could tell he was beaten down a little bit.
And they went to Outback Steakhouse.
They did.
They did. But Brian had been pulling all-nighters earlier in the week and cramming for some pretty important exams.
Yep.
But he knew that Brian was going out later that night with a friend of his named Clint Florence.
Yeah, he was a former roommate.
Yeah. And they had it was described different ways, but they would be friends at one point, then not be friends. They would get in arguments.
They probably some of them friends, where you can hang out along, but once you hang out too much and you start to get on each other's nerves, that's kind of way I was getting the vibe that, they really liked each other and got along well, but then after a while they kind of started rubbing each other the wrong way, I think.
Yeah.
Because, there was a lot of incidents where they got in arguments and stuff.
But by all accounts, Brian and his dad, Randy, they didn't get along too well.
Yeah, there was something going on there.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it was. And they'd had a talk that night at Outback, and it was something to do with the insurance money from his mother's death or something. I'm not exactly sure what all took place with that, but
yeah, there's lots of different stories, and that, and then even one was where he thought he was going to cut Brian off from funds.
Yeah,
where he would start having to pay his own way at college, his own not just his food and stuff, but his schooling too.
But I think Brian was supposed to get around $20,000 from his mother's insurance. I think that's what he was supposed to be getting.
Which probably is not very much when you see how much he probably had racked up in college in all them years. Think about it.
That's true. But Brian was working a couple jobs.
He did.
Now, after the Outback dinner with his dad, Brian went home.
Yep.
And this is where he met his buddy Clint.
Right.
And they walked to the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. It's a seafood restaurant and bar, and it's located, well, it was located on the second floor of South Campus Gateway Complex. And it's there on High Street, there in Columbus. And an hour later, he had called Alexis. This was a girl he was dating who was visiting her family. She was out of town. She had went to Toledo to see her family, and I think she had a sick dog.
She did.
That she was going to visit.
Right. Doing all that before they left to go to spring break.
Yeah, they were going to Miami, like I said. Now, throughout the rest of the night, Brian and Clint, they visited other bars. They were taking shots at other bars. I think they would go to a bar, get a shot.
Yeah. So, yeah, said they were only doing one shot of each at each establishment, but you know how that is.
Mm-hmm. And they were working their way down to the Arena District. Now, according to Clint, they, like I said, each had a shot of liquor at each establishment. And after midnight, they ran into Clint's friend. Her name was Meredith Reed.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave both of them a ride back to the Ugly Tuna, where there was a live band playing. I think this was their favorite place.
Yeah, plus it was the closest place, so probably the one they go to the most.
Yeah, close to where they lived.
Right.
Now, the three of them, they were caught on CCTV cameras at 1 a.m. riding the escalator up to the restaurant bar.
Yeah, about 1:15.
This was the only public entrance to the bar.
Yes.
Yep.
You had to go up these escalators to get there.
Yep, and you had to go down to get back out.
Correct.
With the public.
Yes.
And at some point during that evening, Brian, he got separated from Clint and Meredith. Now, there's some online sources claim that he told Clint and Meredith he was going to talk to one of the members of the band. But, you know, they didn't know nothing about that.
Right.
And again on camera around 1:55 a.m., Brian was seen outside the bar talking to a couple of young ladies.
Right. Now, according to one of the young ladies, that Brian and Clint both were there.
Talking to the ladies?
Yeah, because Clint knew one of them. He let's see, he had been assistant teacher or something in one of the girls' classes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew each other. So he was talking to her, so Brian was just talking to the other lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Brian had offered to walk them back to their car because they were leaving. But then something happened. He got distracted and they split up, and he did not walk them back. He went back into the bar.
I think Brian was being flirty to one of them.
If you call kissing him on the neck flirty, then that's
Yeah.
what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yes. And she said, so she just grabbed his phone and put her number in the phone and then gave him his phone back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian was being quite flirty with these ladies.
Well, you know, he's several shots in. He's probably just having fun.
Yep. Even though he had a girlfriend.
Yeah, well, you know.
Now, when the bar closed at around 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith noticed that Brian was nowhere to be seen.
So this is what, 5 minutes later?
Pretty much, yeah. And the lights come on in the bar, and the bouncers are trying to get everybody out.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And they will get them out any way they can. It doesn't matter what exit.
Right.
They got to leave the bar. Everybody has to leave the bar.
Yeah, I think they called last call, and then they had a little bit after that, and then when they're trying to get everybody out, they're just rushing them out. But I don't know exactly what the timetable was, from 2 to 2:30 or whatever.
Yeah, I've been in a bar like that, and when the lights come on, they get you out of there.
Yeah, because they're ready to go home.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They got to clean up and do all that mess, and it's time for you to go, brother.
They don't care who you're with or what you have or anything. You are leaving the bar.
Yeah.
You're gone. But they began searching for him with a massive swarm of people that were exiting after them, and they assumed that he had gone home without telling them.
Yeah, they both went. You know, basically they said this place was not that big. Basically, if you were in any corner, you could see the whole bar as kind of a square.
Mm-hmm.
And they had both walked around the whole bar, I think once or twice, and even checked the men's room, you know, or the restrooms. I don't know, just the men's room. And no sight of him, nowhere. So that's when they didn't really know what was going on. So I think Meredith tried to call him, or maybe both of them tried to call a cell phone and didn't get anything.
Didn't get nothing. Went straight to voicemail.
All right.
Now, during that weekend, Alexis and Randy, that's Brian's girlfriend and his father, they tried to contact Brian with no progress at all.
Yeah, she tried to call him that next morning and didn't get him. which, you know, she probably didn't think much about it, knowing he was going out that night. He's probably sleeping it in, you know.
Yeah.
And then I think later she kept trying to call him throughout the day and never got a hold of anybody.
And she went to his apartment, and his car was parked in its spot, and nothing looked out of place in his apartment. Everything looked, the bed was made, and everything was fine, but there was no sign of Brian.
Yeah, I think she had actually talked to the other folks, and nobody had seen him and didn't know him, and so she just drove straight back from her parents to his place.
Yeah.
And she probably was relieved when she pulled up that his car was there, but then went in and nothing.
Yeah. But Brian, he wouldn't be reported missing until that Monday.
Right. Well, she said that, you know, maybe he just needed a couple of days just to be alone and decompress or whatever. But she knew that they had this big trip planned for, you know, to go to Miami. That, you know, if he was here, he would not miss this plane.
Yeah.
So I think she actually went to the airport ready to go and
waited on him. Yeah.
And just sat there and waited. And then by the time they were calling, you know, last call on at the gate to board the plane, she's starting to freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when they reported Brian missing.
Exactly.
Yeah, she called his dad.
Yeah.
They reported missing.
He called the cops.
But now the police, they begin their search at the Ugly Tuna where Brian was last seen.
Right.
So this man, Brian, he walked into the bar and didn't walk out.
Right.
I mean, that's
pretty much the the long and short of it.
It is, because there is nothing on this guy, man. But not only did the Ugly Tuna have security cameras, but other bars nearby, they had cameras. They said Columbus, Ohio had more cameras than any other place around.
Yeah. It was like more than 2 or 3 other big cities combined.
Yeah, they had cameras. But the officers, they examined the footage from all these businesses, but there was no trace of Brian.
No, and then it was pretty impressive what they did. The detective assigned to just do the all this footage, he actually took it home. They said they ended up with like, I think, 10 different discs. It had so much footage. And took it home and then loaded it up into this projector and put it on his basement wall so he could watch it life size, basically.
Yeah.
So you could really see who was coming and going, which is pretty smart to me.
Yep, and they were able to account for every person that had went into the Ugly Tuna and left.
Yeah.
It took a while, but they were able to account for every person.
That's kind of hard to believe, but we'll go with what they
Yeah.
say.
Except for Brian. Brian was seen going in, but never leaving.
Right.
By the escalators anyway.
Exactly.
Yes. The investigators knew that it was possible that the cameras at the Ugly Tuna might have missed him on one camera that panned across the area while the other operated manually. And there was another exit not generally used by the public. It was a service door at the time and open to a construction site that the police believe would have been difficult to walk through while sober.
Yeah.
Much less intoxicated.
Right. But that door was not inside the bar. It was kind of, if you look at the pictures, it's like if you come out the main doors, where they were seen on camera talking to those girls.
Yep.
It was right out there, just off to the side. Now, when they were talking to some of the folks from the band, they were saying that there was a hallway and another door out the back, or an elevator or something, but I couldn't find any, like a layout of a place to show me exactly where that was.
Yeah.
But they said that the hallway didn't have cameras in it, but there was a camera at the door on the other end. So if it was like, if they were rushing everybody out and the band was packing up, and I've roadied for a bunch of bands, so I mean, when you're getting equipment and grabbing stuff, a lot of times people will go with you or walk with you, talking with you, because they're drunk and they want to talk to you, or they want to help you, or they want to carry stuff, you know. And if you're all going out at the same time, he might have gotten out without being seen, but I don't know how good the camera is, because I haven't seen the footage from that door, and I don't know if it's even being released.
Yeah.
I know the escalator stuff has been for sure, but I don't know about the other door.
But now, according to the police, they said they looked at that footage from that camera, and Brian was not on it.
Right. Yeah.
So Brian walked into a bar and didn't leave.
Hey, did you hear the one about the guy that walked in the bar?
He didn't leave, yeah. Now, the search continued to find out where Brian was last seen with law enforcement. And sometimes accompanied by police dogs, they searched the dumpsters, sewers, landfills, and they were putting up flyers of Brian's picture.
They searched everywhere. They searched that building inside and out, dumpsters all around, parking decks. They searched on horses. They searched the rivers. They searched. They put a tremendous amount of resources into looking for this guy. It was just, and I'm probably a lot of money too. If you think about it, all the manpower they put into it.
Yeah, a lot of police.
They were really trying to find this dude because, what do you think about when they hear the story of the guy walked into the bar and didn't come out? They're like, what? So he's got to be here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, this would be fairly easy to figure out, but here we are.
Yeah. Now, Randy, Brian's dad, he even received a tip from a psychic stating that Brian's body would be found in a body of water. And they got to looking along the shores near the bridges of the Olentangy River, which flows through Columbus and is adjacent to the Ohio State campus university there.
Yeah, it's about a mile from where he lived, I think.
Yeah. And his dad was in the water looking for Brian.
Man.
And there was at some point, Randy got swept up into a whirlpool or something and actually about drowned looking for Brian.
Good gosh.
Yeah. I think Derek actually saved him, pulled him out.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
It's still nothing.
Now, everyone who saw Brian on the night of March 31st / morning, April 1st.
April Fools.
Yep. They were all given lie detector tests, except for his buddy Clint.
Well, he was going to give one, but he declined.
Yeah, he lawyered up.
Now, they did say that, I don't know about this either. I don't think they gave everybody a lie detector test. I'm sure it was maybe just a little core group there, but because, everybody who saw him would be a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they said that Clint did come in and do a full, interview with him. Correct, thank you. And, everything went great. But when they called him back in to ask him more questions and wanted to take a lie detector test, he declined and got a lawyer.
Yeah, which I can't blame him. I wouldn't take no.
I ain't taking one.
Nope.
Dude, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad it looked. I'd be so darn nervous.
Yeah, I'd fail it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did turn down the polygraph. Now, Meredith Reed, she took one and passed.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm-hmm. So it makes me wonder, they were together that evening. I think Clint was house sitting that night that Brian went missing.
Yep.
For, I think, a community college teacher or something.
Yeah, so, and pretty much, Clint and her were together.
And it's not sure if they were love interest or they were just friends. It's not clear.
Yeah, I don't know.
They may have been at one point, and I don't know.
They might have just been friends with. But, or without. Who knows? But, yeah, but they were pretty much since she came and picked them up and drove them back up there, I think they were together the rest of the night, or at least most of it, because I think she took him back to Brian's house to get his car. Because, where he had met Brian at his house, at his apartment. And then after that, they might have split up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Now, the authorities, they went to Brian's apartment, and there was no sign of a struggle, and nothing of value was missing.
No.
And his car was still in the same spot.
Yeah. Everything was there. His bank book, his cards, because he didn't take a lot of stuff when they went out that night. I'm sure he had probably some, his debit card and his wallet, whatever he carried in his wallet. But everything else, besides his cell phone, he just left at home because he didn't need it anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. But there was no activity on his cell phone or bank accounts, like you said. And every night for several months, Alexis, his girlfriend, would call Brian's cell phone.
Yep.
And it went straight to voicemail.
Yeah. She just said it made her feel better trying to deal with all this, and so she would just call him at least once every day.
And she did this for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And Dale, there was one night in September, she called his phone, and it rang 3 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she flipped out.
Yep. And she called Randy, his dad. He called the phone, and it would ring. The police called the phone, and it would ring.
Mm-hmm.
There were several people calling his phone, and it would ring.
I think it done this for a couple of days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But singular, this was Brian's cell phone carrier. They claimed that it was just a computer glitch.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If it was just one time, maybe it was a glitch. But I don't know, which I'm not a cell phone technician, but I did hear somebody who is a cell phone technician said that there's no way that if a phone is off and not connected to a network, that you would call it and it would ring at all.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and like I said, if it had just been her, she called one time and it did it, and then she called back and it goes back to voicemail. It's some kind of weird crossover signal or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be maybe possible, but when 3 or 4 different people calling from different phones did it and it rang, now, did it just ring 3 times for everybody, or do we know?
That I don't know. I knew it rang for everybody.
Okay. Well, I know it. You know, it continued. Yeah, it continued to ring for everybody, but no one ever answered, of course.
But now get this, his phone was not GPS enabled. They couldn't find the location, but a ping was detected at a cell tower in Hillard, Ohio, which is about 14 miles northwest of Columbus.
Right.
So it had to be turned on, man.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that phone had to be on.
The glitch is not pinging, is it?
That's right.
Even though the anything GPS or the pings or whatever, triangulation or whatever they had back then is nowhere near what we have now. But
A ping is a ping, right?
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
let's golf club and then it's a ping too. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. But yeah,
if
it rings, it's a ping, right?
Yeah.
Man, really?
Is that a rule?
That's what I would say it'd be.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Dale. Moving up to September 2008, there was a bad windstorm, heavy windstorm there in Ohio, and Randy Shaffer, Brian's dad, was out in the yard clearing up some debris.
Yeah, I think he went out there just to see how bad the damage was to his yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a branch blew off of a nearby tree and killed him.
Yeah, crazy.
Fatally struck him.
Sure did.
And what's bad is the neighbors, they found his body the next morning.
Yeah.
So he laid out there all night, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad, man.
Yeah, pretty bad. That's
Yep.
shocking.
His obituary ran online, and a condolence book was posted.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the signatures in it said, "To Dad, love, Brian." And there was a parenthesis beside of it, and inside the parenthesis said, U.S. Virgin Islands.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Now, you think that's one that would pop up just because that's where you were, or you think somebody had to physically type in U.S. Virgin Islands?
I kind of think it was typed in.
Yeah. You know, people really thought that, you know, maybe he was in the Virgin Islands, and investigation followed him down there, but later it was determined that this was a total hoax and it had been posted from a computer in the public library in Franklin County.
Yeah, but who's saying that Brian went in that public library doing that?
Why would he put U.S. Virgin Islands?
I don't know. Just
Of all places everywhere in the whole world.
Yeah.
Why that?
I don't know.
Somebody trying to tell somebody subliminally? Subliminally?
I don't know, man. It's just a weird story all the way around.
It is. It's
Now, the neighborhood around South Campus Gateway was known at the time to be a high crime area, and there is a possibility that Brian could have been attacked after exiting the bar, especially if he used the unmonitored exit that opened up to the construction site. And I have read some speculation online that Clint was a drug user. And I don't have any proof of that, but if it's true, could Brian have been in the wrong place at the wrong time due to his association with Clint?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why Clint wouldn't take the polygraph test?
I guess it's possible.
Yeah.
Hell, Brian might have been one too. Nobody knows.
Yeah, especially, you know, if he's in medical school, having to take uppers to stay awake.
Yeah. Possible.
To study.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why somebody would want to kill him for that. But
Yeah, I know. And there's one theory.
I mean, they never found. There was no like our crime scene or nothing found. There's no blood or nothing found nowhere. Nothing. I mean, actually, nothing has been found. Period.
Yeah, there's some theories, you know, they had maybe suicide, but, you know, people who commit suicide want to be found.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
You know, or are they going to be at home, you know, or whatever. But, yeah, I don't really know if I buy that either. I mean, I know he had bouts with depression before his mother passed away, but he said that he wasn't even on meds or nothing at this point for it. So, I don't know about that, but... You know, he got pretty down when his mom died. He even told, you know, Alexis, maybe you should just move on because I'm just having a real hard time with this. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure, you know, they probably brought them a little closer together actually, but I don't really buy a suicide answer here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This case baffles me.
Yeah.
Apparently it baffles a lot of people for a long time.
Yeah, like I said, this is one of the biggest missing person cases there is.
You know, it's kind of like the one we did from the guy in Charlotte.
Yeah, Kyle Fleischman.
Yeah, because, you know, basically it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Except for we did see him leave.
Mm-hmm.
He had went out and talked to some girls, whatever, and then he walked out of the bar and left and then just disappeared.
Walking toward the pizza joint.
Yeah. So a little bit, you know, he actually did see him come out, so they do know he came out. But here, you don't even get that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people think that Brian just walked away from his life, Dale. Because, I mean, he wanted to live that Jimmy Buffett lifestyle, start his own band. And, you know, maybe he did want to start his own life and just walk away.
Maybe he did. But, hell, I wouldn't do that to your brother. Think about it, you know.
Yeah.
What's he thinking this whole time? You know, because Mom passed away, you're gone, then Dad gets killed in the yard with a limb, and now I'm just here.
Yeah.
You know, and he was younger. I don't know how much younger he was, but I mean, I don't know how close the brothers were.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if Renee, their mom, had anything to do with it, she probably had the boys pretty close.
Yeah.
She seemed like a really good mom. But now there are some subsequent developments. Now, shortly after Randy's death, Neil Rosenberg, he was attorney for Clint. He wrote to Don Corbett, a private investigator who had volunteered his time to help the Shaffer family find Brian. And regarding his client's ongoing refusal to take a lie detector test, Rosenberg intimidated that he had learned that the Columbus police investigating the case believed Brian was alive. And if Brian was alive, which led him to believe, after speaking with the detective involved, then it is Brian and not Clint who is causing the family pain and hardship. That's kind of messed up, man.
Yeah, he's just trying to twist words.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. There's no proof either way on nothing. But, you know, just the way I look at it, if they didn't find him dead, there's no proof that anything happened, not even a struggle or nothing. I mean,
he just
why would you
disappeared.
just think he's dead right off the bat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say there's a very good possibility that he's alive, but, you know, we don't know that.
Yep.
We don't know the other either, you know?
I know.
Truthfully, you don't know anything.
Now, in 2014, the Columbus police said they were receiving at least 2 tips a month on this case via the local Crime Stoppers hotline, but none of them proved useful. Now, just a little bit more. In 2019, Dale, there was an image of an alleged American homeless man in Tijuana, Mexico, and he was bearing a striking resemblance to Brian Shaffer, and it began circulating online. And Columbus news station 10 TV forwarded the image to the detective in charge of the Shaffer case in 2020, and the detective sent the image to the FBI for facial recognition analysis, which ruled him out as the identity of the man.
Right.
So they believe it wasn't Brian Shaffer.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of legacy on this, Dale. Between Shaffer's disappearance and his own death, Randy joined the families of other missing adults in Ohio in lobbying the state legislature to pass a bill establishing a statewide protocol for such cases as Brian's. And at the time of his disappearance, it was left up to individual departments on how to handle the cases. And some parents felt that the investigation of their relatives' disappearances had suffered as a result, and by the time Randy died, the bill had become a law.
Well, at least there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably frustrating, you know, because it's just left up to whoever to do what, and nobody wanted to do a lot of nothing. But it seemed like here they really did everything they could do. You know, I think the authorities here should be given a hand, because they really went well, you know, beyond, I think, to try to find him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they searched everywhere and everything.
Yep. Now, at the time of Brian's disappearance, he was 6'2", 165 pounds. He was wearing an olive green short-sleeved polo shirt over a white long-sleeved shirt, blue jeans, white Adidas sneakers, and a yellow rubber cancer awareness bracelet.
Right.
Now, just a little bit of distinguishing characteristics. He's a Caucasian male, light brown hair, hazel eyes. He has a tattoo of a Pearl Jam symbol on his upper right arm. And
it's a little stick man guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he also has a black spot on his left iris.
You know, and even after all this is going on, that Pearl Jam had actually heard about this, and when they did a show there, they really brought attention to his case and gave out, information stuff from the stage. You can find that on YouTube where people recorded it. Was because they did it live in concert, and then they played a song in his honor.
Yeah, Come Home.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Eddie Vedder doing that.
Yeah,
because Brian was a big Pearl Jam fan.
Yeah, he loved Eddie Vedder.
Yep. That is the case of Brian Shaffer. The investigating agency is the Columbus Police Department, and they can be reached at phone number 877-645-8477.
Right. Now, we could go on and on with all these theories that are come up, but basically that's the in and out of it. It's just basically he went into the bar that night with his friends, come out and talked to a few ladies, went back into the bar, and gone.
Never seen again.
Never seen again, at least on camera.
Yep.
It's really shocking.
There are so many theories on this, man.
Yes.
I don't know. I tend to believe that he got shuffled out the back.
I think so too.
He went out the back.
But I don't know where he went.
No.
And I mean, there's all kind of theories from where he was killed in the restaurant and put in the trash and carried out the next day. I mean, what do you think the all the employees of the restaurant are serial killers? I mean, that's not what do you think they are, the bloody benders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's
I just don't buy that either. But I have no idea. This one, usually I have, by the end of as much, researching and checking into stuff as we do, usually by the end of the recording, I pretty much got what I think happened. But here I don't have a darn clue.
No, but it is a mysterious case. Ain't no doubt about it.
Definitely.
All right, Dale, we are going to get out of here.
All right, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe, be careful, and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.